You're ready to make the leap and record your first how-to video. I mean, you've got the knowledge, you've got the skills, you've got the passion to help others, but you're just not sure how to get started. If that sounds like you, you've come to the right place, because in this video, I'm gonna show you 11 tips on... What is this? Really? I'm gonna show you 11 tips plus a bonus tip so that you can get started recording how-to videos right away. All right, let's get this one out of the way immediately because a lot of people are intimidated by equipment. So tip number one, the camera you use does not matter. I'll say it again, the camera you use does not matter. If you have a phone that was made in the last 10 years or so, that's good enough. Now, you can use nicer equipment if you have it, but don't let the lack of a professional camera hold you back. What you will need though is a cheap tripod, and if you're using your phone, you're gonna need a phone mount to attach your phone to the tripod. For example, I have this tripod here. This was $15, and it is complete garbage, but I would use it if I had nothing else because a tripod is better than no tripod. This phone mount here was $10, and by combining these two, I can set up my phone, my camera, anywhere I need to, and I can get that shot. Now it's time to think about the structure, the format of your video. In other words, how you're gonna present your information to your viewers. There's a lot of different styles, and some creators, they like to just film themselves talking to the camera and demonstrating what they're trying to show the viewer. Other creators will never show their face and just show the work they're doing. But for the beginner, I don't recommend either one of those styles. Here's the problem with that scenario. If you are moving your camera around to different angles, different locations to try and get different shots of the work you're showing, you're gonna have audio problems because your microphone is on your camera. And every time you change the distance from the camera to your mouth, you're changing the distance of the microphone as well. And so you're gonna have really inconsistent audio. And bad audio will send your viewers running to another channel really quickly. And you don't want that, you want them watching. Likewise, don't make the mistake of hiding. Don't hide from your viewer. I know you can feel a little shy on camera sometimes, you know, many people do, but don't hide from your viewer. They want to get to know you. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. So if you're just starting out, I recommend what's called an A-roll, B-roll model. A-roll is the main footage. It's where someone's talking to the camera. There's a person in front of the camera talking to the viewer. And B-roll is like the little spice you sprinkle on top. It's shots that are filmed at a different time, showing or demonstrating what you're talking about. And so when you have A-roll, you see a person on camera, and when you see B-roll, you will still hear the audio from the A-roll describing what's going on in the B-roll. Kind of like what you're seeing now. You can still hear me talking, but you're seeing video on top of it, which is called B-roll. I recommend this A-roll, B-roll model specifically for audio quality. I can't stress it enough. Audio quality is really, really important. And with the A-roll model, especially if your microphone is built into your camera, you want your camera staying in one position, you want you in one position, and the distance between your camera and your face staying the same. That way the audio will be really consistent. Now, you wanna take advantage of that microphone and get your camera as close to your face as is comfortable. The closer you are to the microphone, the better the audio will sound. And there's no need to demonstrate something while you're talking to the camera. You can save that for the B-roll. I really, really recommend writing a script beforehand. Now, I don't sit here reading a script to the camera because that would sound really stiff and stilted, and that's not something I'm good at. But having the exact words I'm gonna say, or close enough, I find is a huge time saver. And it's a time saver because it helps me plan my B-roll. If I know the words I'm gonna say, I know the things I need to show. And so I can make a list. I know I need to get a shot of that, I need to get a shot of that, and it just really helps me. Also, I keep the script handy so that in between takes I can refer to it. When I start planning a video, I just open a Google Doc and I just start making bullet points. I'm just brainstorming, like, what do I want to show the viewer? What do I want to tell the viewer? And just not in any particular order, just throwing down my thoughts. Then when I'm ready to write my script, I just write it below that. And as I plan on the words I'm gonna say, I'll put little notes in the script as well for my B-roll. just so that I know, hey, I need something here. It's almost like making a grocery list of B-roll as I write. Okay, here's another tip. In your video, get to the point. YouTube viewers are notorious for clicking away if they don't immediately get what they're expecting. So within that first 5 or 10 seconds, your video hook, you need to tell the viewer, hey, you're in the right spot and you're gonna get what you expected. When they click on that thumbnail, they have an expectation. So don't use some long introduction, some musical interlude, some flashy title sequence or anything like that, because you're gonna get people clicking away. You could show them maybe a couple of seconds of the finished product or, like some B-roll just to get them excited, but you gotta let them know, hey, this is actually what I was expecting to see. All right, these next 2 tips are combined because they involve location and lighting. And since you probably don't have any studio lighting, your location has to have good lighting. So what you're looking for in a location, you're really looking for 2 things. You're looking, first of all, for a background that's not distracting. You don't want the viewer watching your video going, what is that? You don't want that. And you also want a location, hopefully in front of a window that has nice, soft, natural light. You don't want the sun blazing through the window, but you want it to be very soft and flattering. What you're going to do is you're going to face the window, and the light from the window will fall on your face, and you'll have the camera between you and the window pointing back towards you. And it's totally fine to later on, or even beforehand, do some B-roll recording there as well. Just don't try and do it at the same time. So when you set up that camera in that wonderful, beautiful location with that soft, indirect sunlight coming in, make sure that your camera is set as close as comfortably possible to your face. Again, so that the microphone and the audio sounds really good. Speaking of audio, you want your room to be quiet. You don't want any background noise like TVs in the background or doorbells ringing or clocks ticking really loudly. And also you want to keep out distractions. No children running through the shot, no cats or dogs running through the shot, because that's really gonna mess things up. Now remember how earlier I said don't hide from your viewers? You wanna show your personality on camera. Now that does not mean you need to be screaming at the camera like some crazed, over-caffeinated YouTuber, but you do wanna show your personality. And I had a student recently tell me, hey, there's no reason to put personality into how-to videos because people are just looking to learn a skill and they're not looking for anything else. I really, really disagree with that very strongly. Now, yes, the viewer might have originally found you by typing something in the search bar because they're looking to learn something. But what keeps them coming back is you. It's your personality. They might see your video and go, wow, this person's really an authority on what they're talking about. Or maybe they think you're funny. Or maybe they just like your personality. But that's what's gonna keep them coming back to your channel. You wanna make that connection so your viewers wanna come back and see you again. One way to connect with your viewer, just like in real life, is to make eye contact. If you have a phone with a screen on it, or you have a camera that has a screen that flips around, it's really tempting to look at the screen instead of the lens. However, that can be a little off-putting, and people may not even realize it, but there's something not quite right because you're not making eye contact with them. And let me demonstrate here. I'm gonna do this on my phone. Okay, here on my phone, I'm looking directly at the lens on the front of my phone. And I'm making eye contact with you. Now I'm gonna look at the screen. Here I am looking at the screen. And it's not a huge difference, but it's enough that it's just a little unsettling to the viewer. Unless you're a professional actor, you're probably really bad at memorizing lines from a script. I know I am, I'm horrible at it. But that's okay, because you can edit around that. What you can do is you can keep your script handy, like I have here, and you can refer to your script and just read a few lines to your camera, and then when you can't remember what else you need to say, look back at the script. And later on, you're gonna edit all those pauses out, you're gonna edit all the times you looked at your script, and you just keep the camera rolling. Now the key though is while you're talking to the camera, look directly at the lens. And then when you've forgotten what you're gonna say next, you just look at your script and you continue on. Now I've been talking about the A-roll part of your video for most of this video, but we should talk about B-roll for a minute. And B-roll is where you're gonna demonstrate what you're actually trying to show the viewer. With B-roll, First of all, plan out ahead of time what you need. Using that script, you've got your grocery list of all those B-roll shots you need to get, and get more shots than you think you need. For every single thing you need to show, try and show it from 2 or 3 different camera angles. It's okay if you don't use most of your footage, but having the footage available is so important, because it's better to have more than you actually need than go and try and edit and find that you don't have what you needed. When you're recording your B-roll, it's totally okay to record the entire process of what you're doing, but don't show the viewer everything. Let me give you an example. Let's say you're baking a cake and you're mixing the batter. Now, showing the entire step of mixing the batter could go really long. It could go 5 minutes. I guess, I don't know, I don't bake a lot of cakes, so maybe that's true, maybe it's not. But you don't need to show the entire process of mixing the batter. You can show a few seconds of it and then move on to the next stage. Because remember, your viewer can always rewind if they missed something because it went by too quickly, but if you bore them by showing them too much, they're gonna click away. I know I've said this before in this video, but your audio is way more important than you think. Viewers will forgive shaky cameras, they will forgive bad lighting, but if they can't understand what you're saying, they are out of there. Your audio needs to be clear, it needs to be consistent, and it's so important, I made an entire video just about audio. You don't want to ruin your first how-to video with bad audio. So check out this video right here, and you'll be really glad you did.